Hello, and welcome to Say It Naturally. If you've ever felt unsure about your pronunciation or hesitant about using your voice in English, you're in the right place. I'm Jenny. I'm an English pronunciation and neurolanguage coach. And in this podcast, I share insights, reflections, and simple ideas to help you feel more at ease, more confident, and more natural when you speak. And if you're a teacher, I'll also be sharing occasional teacher's notes you can take into your classroom. I'm really glad you're here. When people imagine what burnout is, they often think about the exhaustion, being overworked, working long hours maybe, and all the stress and overwhelm that comes with that. Perhaps a lack of interest in your work or frustration with what you're doing. And the key thing here is that most people connect it to their work, which is totally valid. It can often come through work. However, it can also come through other sources, such as study. And in language learning, burnout can show itself in different ways, including frustration, avoidance, and maybe even plateauing. So you're getting to a certain level and then you've had enough. You don't want to study anymore. You're getting annoyed with it. And so you stop. So you reach that level and you don't move any further on. This might be because you've been overloaded with corrections and rules. And when this happens, it really does reduce our progress. It means that we stop moving forwards because we're so focused on this idea of perfect language skills, which don't exist, as I said before. But it stops us from moving forwards. When we're learning a language, as with everything in life, we need balance. And this includes having a rest, maybe taking a day off, or doing something different with your language. And this could be watching your favorite series in English instead of doing that grammar exercise. It could be listening to a new podcast on a topic that you're interested in. It could be reaching out to that friend that you've been meaning to speak with. And the final thing that's really important when we're learning a language or using a language is to have realistic expectations. Having an English lesson once a week isn't going to help you progress very much in your language skills. Our brains need regular and consistent effort. Of course, it can be varied, and of course, it doesn't need to be every single day, but it does need to be more regular than once a week. Also, because often in that one session a week, we're learning new things each time. There's not a lot of repetition, and our brains need that repetition in a variety of ways in order to make progress. And I think that it's becoming clearer and clearer that we need that sense of enjoyment and motivation for our goals in order to reach our long-term goals and improve, making it fun, which in turn will motivate us to continue with our studies, is just key to making that improvement for ourselves. And if you are a teacher, here's a short teacher's note that you can take into your classroom. As teachers, we play an important role in shaping not just how learners study, but how they feel about learning. When lessons become too focused on correction, hands up, I've been there myself. I'm not judging anyone, but just raising awareness that when we focus on correction or there's a lot of intensity on focusing on constant progress, learners can begin to feel overwhelmed or discouraged, even the most capable and motivated student. Even the most even the most capable and motivated learner. Creating a more sustainable learning environment can make a real difference. And this could mean building in moments of rest or ease, varying the types of activities you use, or allowing space for learners to just communicate without focusing on every detail. When learners feel supported rather than pressured, they are more likely to stay engaged, enjoy the process, and continue developing their voice over time. Sometimes long-term progress depends on making learning feel lighter, not heavier. So the key thing to remember is this. Sustainable progress comes from balance, not pressure. When you give yourself space to breathe, your learning and your voice can move forward more naturally. In the next episode, we'll explore a simple but powerful shift, moving from performance to progress, and how this can completely change the way you experience learning. Thank you for listening today. I hope something in this episode gave you a little more ease or a new way of thinking about your voice. And if you'd like more support with your own pronunciation or confidence, you can find me at excellenceinenglisheducation.com. I work with learners and teachers who want to feel more comfortable and natural in their spoken English. There'll be a new episode of Say It Naturally next week, and I'd love for you to join me again. Until then, take care of yourself and your voice.